I'm gonna make sure the Tasha. Brilliant. Yes, that's how I'm gonna start off this video. Today I wanted to talk about peace. Peace with ourselves and peace with the world. I wanted to talk about the anger that we have at the world and how it conflicts with our ultimate goal of being happy and being at peace. So, I often monologue at myself. I lecture myself pretty often. I do not know if this is a normal thing that people do. If it is, please let me know in the comments. I would actually like some perspective on the matter. But it's probably an influence from Epictetus. I've read Epictetus's work so many times. I started to lecture myself. And so I went to touch grass. I went outside. Crazy, I know. And I saw a bunch of people outside with their partners, living it up, enjoying themselves. And I got into a bad mood. Like a little baby. I got into a bad mood. And then I was unhappy. And I was jealous. I'm going to say it like I was jealous and I wanted what they had. And what I want ultimately is the same thing as what you want ultimately. A sense of peace. A sense of peace in your life. And I think it's so funny that we want a sense of peace in our life, and yet when we examine our daily lives and the things that we do and the things that we think about, everything, most of what we do is against the goal of experiencing peace. We are full of resentment, contempt, jealousy. We're full of anger, hate, bitterness. Where is the peace in that? We go at war with the world. We call the world our enemy. We battle the enemy. Where is the peace in this? I'm speaking to myself here as well. Peace does not need war. Peace does not need war. And here I am, just angry at the world, bitter at the world. We consciously want one thing and we also want another. We say we want to live lives of peace, and we also want to enjoy the gratification of being angry. We want to enjoy the power and the fulfillment and the release of tension that comes with being angry and bitter. We say we want to get along with others, and we contempt them, which is really funny, because contempt and jealousy and hate is poisonous to you and not to the person you hate. It is poisonous to you, and while you wish that the person you hate is being poisoned. I don't remember which philosopher said that. I just ripped their idea and their wording. I'm pretty sure it was one of the Stoic greats. My memory fails me. I know, I said I wouldn't make as many yapping videos, but I was busy today and I do want to upload. And I just thought, I'm going to share some of my thoughts. Because I am a walking contradiction. There is a mess in my head, and I'm trying to work through it. And it all starts with being aware. It all starts with knowing why we choose to think, do, and see the things that we choose to see. Because one person can see the same event and have a different opinion on that event. Why do I choose to feel the way I choose to feel? Why do I have the biases and beliefs that I have? Why do I live the way that I do when I want to do better? And it's starting off with that awareness and also wanting to be better that you can actually start to make the slow, painful changes. And they will be full of failure. Very few changes will happen instantly. And I feel like this is obvious. At least to me it's obvious. But to some people, like me from the past, it's something that you had to say to them. I'm going to wrap up this video because there's pretty much no value in this. But there's actually one thing that is valuable. It's going to be what I'm about to say. When I was 15, when I was 15.75 years old, I discovered the works of the Stoics, and I was severely off myself depressed at the time. Within a week of learning about Stoicism, I went to being mildly depressed, which is kind of insane. But because of that change, and how I still believe that Stoicism saved my life, but I became infatuated with it. And I saw these people like Seneca, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, and for some reason in my head I kind of just thought that these guys were masters of philosophy, masters of Stoicism. They had somehow mastered it. When they learned the wisdom that they learned, they just made the changes instantly, which is such a stupid thing in hindsight. Because when you look at what's going on, why is it that I have meditations, letters from a Stoic? Why is it that I have Enchiridion on my bookshelf? Why did these philosophers have to write to themselves? Letters from a Stoic is letters from Seneca to Lucilius. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. But Enchiridion and Meditations were journals. They were written by the author for the author, as reflections, as reminders, as meditations. Bit on the nose there. Because they themselves struggled with implementing the principles, and they had to continually remind themselves and drill the principles into their head, because the process of change is slow, non-linear, difficult, and full of failure. And that is the way it is. Living in line with principles and in line with philosophy means trying to overcome old patterns. In some cases, to overcome human nature, and doing things that can be unnatural to do. Like reading. Reading is unnatural for us. There's no reading center in our brain. But it is something that you can learn with enough practice, right? I'm getting tired. Have a good day. My hair looks really good today. That never happens.